What's the difference between J.K. Rowling and Scott Adams? Is it just that one person's
that J.K. Rowling is right?
Yeah, well, I would generally agree.
J.K. Rowling is kind of right, but
She's kind of right.
she's got some good points. But anytime somebody gets that fixated on one thing, you gotta wonder.
But
right?
do you think she's that fixated? She hasn't
She
made
is
this
ultra
many public
fixated.
statements about it.
You ever
right?
meet a libertarian that knows the age of consent in all 50 states?
Probably Mr. Girl.
When you meet people like this, you're like, you're not saying anything wrong. It's a little fucking weird that you're so obsessed with this
What is she
topic.
so fixated on? Just the erasure of women?
So if you didn't know this, every single British woman that is a feminist also fucking hates trans people. All of them do. And here's the problem is initially J.K. Rowling said crazy shit, but trans activists online rose to the challenge and started to fulfill all the crazy shit she said. And now her arguments seem more legitimate. And then now that all steam.
She was right on accident, you mean?
Basically, yeah, because, well, but it's kind of like everybody from Twitter from 2016, where people are like, oh, well, pretty soon, people are going to be kneeling and kissing the boots of black people in the streets while begging forgiveness. Like, no one's going to do this.
And then they did. They did.
Yeah, and then they did. It's like, oh, yeah, well, fuck me, I guess.
I always get people. Nobody will ever get a female ID as like a joke to get fun benefits, and I'm like, I went to the DMV the day they put that rule into place and got a female ID.
Do you really?
I am now a legal woman in the state of California.
It's just, it gets a little goofy sometimes.
And then Biden starts going, I'm going to give tax credits to women. I'm like, all right,
Oh, then I'm
Biden,
gonna do it then.
Let's
Fuck
line
this.
them up. You should go to the DMV and check a box, and you get better taxes. And if you go to prison, you get to go to lady prison, which is a lot more fun, I imagine.
So.
You really think that they'd put you in the women's jail?
What legal reason would they have to deny me? I'm a
But
woman.
would you go for it, or would you be like,
I
I'm
am
going to be
a
with the
legal
boys?
woman in the state of California, and if they try to deny me, I'll sue their fucking shit.
God, imagine if you go to women's prison, though, and you can't even get laid in there.
No, it's going to be horrible for me. It's going to be
full of trans.
super
It'd be all over.
It's going to be all trans guys and ladies, and then I'm going to get
That's got to be a
passed
skit
around.
where a guy goes through fucking 50 million hoops and he gets in to find.
Yeah.
It's like a 15-minute skit, and the
another
final 5
guy.
seconds is him walking in, and it's a whole bunch of
All
fucking
right,
vetoes.
time to meet my new cellmate. My name's Bruno. Damn it! Come on!
First time.
That's pretty crazy because that essentially turns like women's prisons into like a weird sex club meetup zone that you can now sort of enter into if you're clued in enough.
Exactly.
If you watch your podcast.
Hey man, you got to run the system. Make the system work for you.
Yeah.
And if they take my female ID away, I'm okay with that because I don't think I'm supposed to have it. It makes no sense to me that I have it, but the fact that I have the ability to obtain it.
Wait, do you have it on you?
Yeah. I'll show you later.
Oh shit.
My picture is terrible.
Oh, with not enough
would
makeup that day?
Yeah, exactly. I went in like completely haggard and I'm like, oh, I really fucked up that picture.
You didn't even wear a fucking dress for? You didn't even commit to the bit?
No, I just went in and I went to
Dick would have worn a dress. He would have went in with,
Why?
with
Why?
a bow in his hair.
I
Because
could
you're getting
be
a goddamn
a
female
woman-
ID.
A woman can be whatever she wants to be, Destiny.
Have you got pulled over at any point in the last since
Yeah.
you did this and the cops kind of confused?
I don't know. They kind of gave me a look, but then they're like, whatever.
He's like, do I want to go viral on TikTok today?
This body cam footage is coming out.
Going through TSA, they're kind of like, I don't know anymore. And then they just let you through. I think everybody is just kind of giving up on trying to figure it out.
Wow.
They're like, it's an ugly lady, but what are you going to do?
So do you think I'm wrong for Destiny? You think like from what I've seen of the J.K. Rowling thing, I don't really feel like she said anything that offensive. Do you
Here's the
think
issue.
it's offensive? Do you think
Yeah.
the trans people are right?
Okay, here's the issue. J.K. Rowling initially made complaints. This is what all turfy women do it, okay?
Uh-huh.
Trans exclusionary radical feminists. Is they said that trans women were going to come in, they were going to steal our spaces and make us unsafe. That's what they said. I think 5 years ago, that was ridiculous to say because people weren't advocating for that. Trans people just wanted the right to medical care that wasn't cosmetic, that was covered by insurance, that could help them live the lives they wanted to live, which is fine. I think it was fine. But then things got a little bit crazy. COVID accelerated everything crazy. And now you've got people saying things like, I've seen huge Twitter threads with like 80,000 likes saying the only reason women's sports were invented was because women were kicking the ass of like all the men in sports. So I was like, have you ever seen a real man or woman in your entire fucking life?
I've
Or-
never
or-
seen
they were
women's sports, but I
dominating.
know that's not true.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you get all of these insane like posts. You're starting to see more of the like my 2-year-old daughter identified as a trans man or whatever.
Yeah.
Or you see all
She
these
picked
things.
up a G.I. Joe and I knew.
Yeah.
One of the guys that assaulted us at the Netflix when we found out later his daughter or son, I don't remember which, was trans. So that's why it was such an important issue. Remember
Yes.
that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My
Came
daughter's
at
pretty
us.
into Buzz Lightyear. Is that a problematic
You have a
thing?
trans.
Yeah, it's just so now like all those turfy arguments seem a little bit.
No one's
more
gonna cut
true.
off a little kid's dick, and now we're kind of going in that direction.
But so you're admitting defeat here? You're saying
I'm
that
not
she was
admitting
right about
defeat.
everything?
I don't think she was right. I think she
You're saying
stumbled
you were
into
temporarily
she
right.
stumbled into the correct answer because people rose to the occasion to prove her correct.
Are a lot of your enemies like accidentally right sometimes, you find?
If you give them 5 years, I guess they will be right.
She was a predictor. She saw the writing on the wall.
That was my favorite part about
You
the
give them an
trans-
inch, they take a mile.
But
They
do,
take
They
six
take
inches.
several inches.
do you think
away.
that the massive success of Hogwarts Legacy is in some way making some trans people so and like the Chappelle thing I would say is similar, where it's like some people just seem to be getting sick of this whole little scam that they've got us caught up in, where they have convinced us that we need to be concerned with offending them all the time?
It's promoted all the time on the news. Like it's always trans this. I'm like, there's no way this is the only news.
It
That's
would
going
appear
on
that people
today.
aren't really going for it if you look at the Chappelle thing or the Hogwarts Legacy thing, right?
I think another issue too, I'm going to blame conservatives again, fuck them, is conservatives have no fucking platform in this country anymore besides social issues. You ever notice that? Conservatives aren't talking about the economy or trade or even fucking immigration anymore.
Yeah.
All they want to talk about are fucking trans people.
Yes.
I feel like every time a conservative opens his mouth, it's going to be repeating something J.K. Rowling said or talking about some trans woman that went in a bathroom or beat up a kid in school or some shit. And it's like, Jesus. So I think they drive a lot of the media cycle too, because right now they don't have much of an economic platform. It's all social
Their
shit.
platform is becoming the platform of these reactionary YouTubers where they're putting out political ads going, I'm going to de-wokeify America.
Yeah,
I'm like,
oh
I
my
don't,
God.
I don't want you to care about any
Raise
of that.
the minimum wage. What the fuck are you
I'm
talking
going to
about?
punish
Jesus.
Disney for putting a gay character in Buzz Lightyear. How does that help me pay my bills, you cocksucker?
my
That's not
God.
helpful at all.
Political ads have basically become like Tim Pool thumbnails.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
It's
Dude,
so
I saw one
crazy.
today, and it's like, don't you hate that these woke people are ruining your Star Wars? I'm like, that's my job. I complain about that, not you.
You
Like,
should get canceled. I am for cancel culture, and it should be if you ever put the word woke in anything, just get off the
Yes.
internet for like you get a 2-week ban until nobody says woke anymore or anti-woke or whatever the fuck.
It's killing me.
Oh
How
my
much?
God.
How much blame do trans people deserve for like this whole concept of like, well, I'm a woman now. Well, what is it then?
The problem
Like,
is that
it
there's
just having
two
long
types
hair,
of trans people. Okay,
not being able to drive. Like, what? Tell me what it is.
there are two types of trans people. There are the trans people that are like actually trans people, and if you meet them in real life, most of them just want to be able to do their shit pass and be left the fuck alone.
Yes.
They cringe when the Leah Thomas shit. They cringe when all the weird Twitter shit comes up, and then you have like there's a new breed of trans person. And the new breed of trans person is an 18 to 24-year-old woman that has
Okay.
dyed her hair and has a septum piercing and identifies as a non-binary ZZM. And it's like the fastest growing. Like whenever you see stats that are like 10% of Americans are now trans, it's like 2% are trans and 98% are non-binary. And it's like
Yeah.
these types of like college age people. But the problem is that, and I've always said this, when you're in college, I think you should be crazy. You should be an activist. You should be out there because you're in fucking college. It's your time to do that. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is now the way that they're expressing that is with transness, and that can't be attacked, right? If you know back in the 90s or 2000, you have like scene kids, you've got skaters, you've got goth kids, whatever. You want to say like, listen,
Make fun of them all the
yeah,
time.
it's a phase. You'll grow out of
Yeah.
it. Like you're goofy, whatever. But you can't say to a 19, you're like, oh, cute, you're non-binary. Like you'll figure your shit out in 4 years. You can't say that because now it's horrible. And the worst thing ever is we gave kids too much fucking power because now a 20-year-old, no offense, thinks their opinion matters by going on fucking social media and giving life advice and activist advice to the fucking world by telling everybody how everything should be.
Yo, we just hit 400,000 subscribers right here on the Clips channel. So if you want to help us out, click subscribe, get us to 500K. Yeah.